Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Harmeet Dhillon, Assistant Attorney General, absolutely runs circles around the oldest freshman in the Senate, in Peter Welch. Let's dive in.
Ms. Dhillon, who won the 2020 election for president?
Senator, I previously testified on this matter. President Biden was declared the winner of that election, and I honor that and respect that.
But you can't say he won.
I mean, he was the president for 4 years. He clearly was the president.
Most of us know that. I'm asking if he won.
I've answered your question, Senator.
But you haven't. I want to ask you a question about Texas redistricting. As you know, President Trump has recently encouraged, I'll use that, Texas Republicans to do mid-cycle redistricting in order to gain more seats in the House of Representatives. I understand that after the president made that decision or that announcement, you personally sent a letter on July 7 to Texas in your capacity as Assistant Attorney General, arguing that 4 Democratic districts violate federal law. Is that the case?
It is the case that I sent a letter under my authority to administer the Voting Rights Act and indicate that in light of our analysis of 4 so-called coalition districts in Texas, that those districts were inconsistent with the Voting Rights Act.
And the date of July 7 was just coincidental, that it occurred after the president had called on the Texas legislature to do mid-decade redistricting?
I don't remember what date, Senator. I probably sent 300 letters since I've been in this office. And so what I can say is that I send no letter or make no request without proper investigation.
Have you sent any other state legislature a letter where you have indicated that districts within their state are in violation of federal law?
Not yet.
More redistricting to come?
I don't know. I have to investigate the facts.
Before you sent the letter on July 7, did you have any conversation with any representatives of the White House?
Senator, as you're aware, there are privileges that are involved in all executive branch communications, and I'm not able to testify without breaching the Department of Justice's guidelines in that regard, so I'm unable to answer any questions about conversations I may have had with other executive branch officials.
I'm not asking you what the content of the conversation was. I'm asking whether there was any conversation with anyone from the White House before you sent that July 7 letter.
Senator, I have the same answer. I think you're aware of the broad scope of privileges that apply to lawyers' conduct.
Well, here's what I'm aware of. The president made a directive, which is highly unusual, telling a legislature, the Texas legislature, mid-decade to do redistricting when we do that every 10 years. And it just so happened that the Assistant Attorney General sent a letter to that legislature after the president made his announcement and said that your investigation suggests 4 districts are in violation of federal law.
Is there a question, Senator?
There's a point here that it's hard to believe that that wasn't coordinated.
Well, let me draw your attention to a different fact that refutes your argument, namely the governor of the state that I called home for 25 years also called for redistricting in the state of California, and I haven't sent a letter to California. So correlation is not causation, Senator.
Which 4 districts did you say are in violation?
I did not come here to testify about that, but if you wish to have a follow-up with me about it, I'm happy to pull up my research. I'm not.
Would I be surprised that those were Democratic districts?
I don't know how to answer that, Senator. I'm not here to testify about that. I'm sure it's convenient to try to distract from the purpose of this hearing, which is to talk about DEI, but that is not what I'm prepared to testify about here today, Senator.
You have put a freeze on activities that the Justice Department in your division had done before, and you have walked out of settlements. I'm going to talk about Lowndes County in Alabama.
Senator, I think you're misinformed. There was a temporary freeze prior to my taking office. There's no freeze on activities. I filed numerous lawsuits, opened dozens and dozens of investigations, entered into numerous settlements, opened hate crime investigations involving numerous religious backgrounds. So I don't know what you're talking about, Senator.
Well, I don't have that much time, so we'll have to take this up in the second round of questioning. So I yield back.
Who in their right mind listened to this form of questioning and did not push back on it? Okay? This is a freshman senator, by the way, at 75 years old. This dude has been in politics in Vermont since the 80s, if I am not mistaken. You'd think that a man with a law degree who has been a public defender and then a private attorney, I think it was a personal claims attorney, you'd think that he would have a better understanding of the law, because if you're trying to get someone in a gotcha moment, you need to set it up properly. When you are going to court, when you are going to trial, and you know you can get exactly what you want out of a company because they might have broken a law, someone fell over and broke their arm because someone wasn't keeping things up to code. Remember, folks, when you work in a warehouse, you might hate the safety man, but the safety man is there not for your benefit, but for the benefit of the company, so they don't get sued. And so this dude, you'd think that Peter Welch would have a better understanding of some basic argument and some basic legal theory, and instead his world gets rocked by Harmeet Dhillon. Just completely wrecked. Hey, y'all. According to new reports, central banks around the world may be buying twice as much gold as official reports suggest. Yeah, you heard that right. Twice as much. And get this, they're bypassing traditional markets and buying directly from miners in Asia, Africa, and in Latin America. That means no US dollars, just physical gold. This shift isn't just symbolic, it could be strategic. They could be looking to bypass traditional Western markets. So if central banks are scrambling to reduce their dollar exposure and own more physical gold, should you do the same? That's where the award-winning precious metals company Goldco comes in. Right now, you could get a free 2025 gold and silver kit and learn more how gold and silver can protect your savings. Just go to politabrawlgold.com. Plus, you could get up to 10% back in bonus silver just for starting up. Go to politabrawlgold.com. That's politabrawlgold.com. And there's no great gotcha moment, but I know this dude wasn't prepared for anything properly when she didn't answer that first question the way he wanted to. This dude wanted a moment to fundraise. This dude wants a few moments in the spotlight because a report just came out that this dude made, I think, 137 grand in the stock market last month. He's not getting positive press right now, so he needs something else. And so he begged to one of his superiors in the Senate to say, hey, can I get my few minutes? I've been a lawyer. I need something to take some heat off of me. And instead, he makes a clown of himself, asking questions like, well, why did you recommend Texas change their districts? Have you looked at a map of the old Texas district? There was one, the Texas 37th district, stretched, and I bring this up every single time, but it's one of the worst drawn districts perhaps in the entire country. It stretched from the eastern side of San Antonio, went up the interstate to Austin's southern side. And when I say go up the interstate, I mean about a mile, 2 miles in width for the entire length of that interstate to connect two populations that are in completely different cities. When we talk about redistricting, what never gets brought up properly, and again, I keep on harping on this because of the importance of this idea, that it's not just people that are voting. Okay, it's the local economies, okay? When you are out in Northern California, when you're out in the Pacific Northwest, you need to draw up special districts so logging interests and mining interests are taken into account as well. And because of the Voting Rights Act, quite literally stating that if you have a large minority district somewhere where there's a whole chunk of people that are minorities in this country, you need to give them special privileges. You need to give them their own special districts. despite the fact that what that really does is it dilutes the voting power because you can lump them all up in one place and give them one single district. And that's exactly what's now happening with Texas. But it gets even funnier when you realize that, oh, these new districts, they are cutting out and cutting and trimming the fat. And the Rio Grande Valley, which has been a blue bastion for decades, has now gone Republican because they're realizing, oh, this border security is no joke. We're here legally. Trump's right on this one. And now the Texas Democrats are screaming, and then the rest of the Democrat Party is out there running with their like a chicken with its head cut off. They're now screaming to redistrict more of their states. Well, I've got news for those states. Massachusetts and Connecticut have a combined 15 legislators, 6 in Connecticut, 9 in Massachusetts that go to Congress. They both vote about 40% Republican. How many Republican districts you think they have? You think they have about 4, 5, maybe 6 if they're lucky? 0. It's 0. California's new maps are disgustingly drawn. If these maps pass, we might need to have a massive lawsuit against the state of California for breaking multiple laws and then doing something that's absolutely horrific, making districts completely indistinct from their actual economic outputs and values. You will have, from the proposed maps, you will have the entire northern coastline move all the way up to the northern part of the state into the edge of the Cascade Mountains and the end of the Sierra Nevada. I don't think those areas are quite the same and might require completely different economic outputs and might need a representative in the federal government that knows how federal land works. But no, they're lumping a whole bunch of biomes together, all to take away, I think, up to 5 Republican districts. This makes absolutely no sense in any way, shape, or form. So I need to end with this. When Democrats gerrymander their districts, it's to benefit Democrats. When Republicans gerrymander their district, more often than not, it's to benefit Democrats. All right, because it's tough going into the Voting Rights Act. Iowa, it is tough to give Democrats an actual portion of the vote because it's so scattered out. Same problem in Nebraska. Same problem all throughout that part of the Midwest, and then in the South, where there's the Black Belt and the Mississippi River Valley, where you have more black voters. You need to have districts that reflect that by law. It is an absolutely wild situation, and the Democrats can only up the ante. And then I think the craziest part of all is that they let this 75-year-old freshman senator who has law experience get exposed for knowing nothing, not having anything truly prepared, and he just gets the runaround. This is like Wile E. Coyote hanging out with the Roadrunner, and I think I just heard Harmeet Dhillon go beep beep. Folks, let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.